Welcome to The Source, where we combine the headlines with in-depth conversations with the newsmakers themselves. Today on the program, a probe on the alleged fake kidney dialysis treatments now underway.
The NBI should take over and start to summon everybody.
Also, lawmakers passed the additional taxes on tobacco products.
Bibili pa rin. Kasi bisyo ko na ito eh.
Mas bet ko yung Yossi kaysa mag-vape.
Murang brand na lang bibili.
But will the president sign it?
Tulad ng e-cigarettes at vaping machines. Ito po ay nilagyan na rin po natin ng buwis, bagamat hindi kasing taas ng sigarilyo.
And later, the battle for Senate leadership and committee chairmanships.
Hindi naman porkit senior ay automatic sobrang galing na. Hindi naman porkit baguhan, automatic ay mangmangat walang alam.
Senator Sonny Angara joins us live. Thank you for joining us. I'm Pinky Webb. President Rodrigo Duterte orders a thorough probe on a clinic and its owners allegedly claiming payments for non-existent kidney patients. The president is also mulling the possibility of revamping PhilHealth Corporation and, quote, install more systems of accountability. Also, the proposed bill raising excise tax on cigarettes is ready on the president's table. And later, the state of Senate leadership and committee chairmanships in the 18th Congress. Let's go straight to the source of the story, Senator Sonny Angara. Senator, congratulations. I know it's been a while, but congratulations just the same. You fared very high during the last elections. Huh?
Thank you, Pinky, and good morning to our viewers.
Good morning to you, sir. Ghost dialysis, you know, the PhilHealth is under fire. A wellness center is also under fire for claiming funds from PhilHealth for dead patients or even patients that don't exist. This is not new, Senator. Stories like this have occurred in the past.
Yes, we've heard about that. I think quite notable was yung cataract, the overpayment for overclaiming for eye diseases. And then you heard the same for pneumonia. And so you know, every now and then there's a scam that pops up. So talagang you appreciate what the president is calling for. You need some punitive measures, you need some preventive measures actually, para hindi na maulit, diba? Aside from punishing those who are guilty, you need to have stronger, because why we passed, your show mentioned the higher tobacco taxes, which is going to raise maybe 130 billion over the next 5 years. Kaya natin pinasa yun para sa universal healthcare. So bibigyan natin ng mas maraming pera, and yet merong mga anomalya. So it's a bit disturbing. Aside from it being a political issue, it's also a moral issue because this money is meant for sick people, very poor and sick people. So talagang you're taking away resources. Aside from the usual corruption that happens in government, it's particularly condemnable because you're taking away money that's meant for very sick and very poor people.
Do you have anything in mind, sir, to prevent an incident like this from happening? Because, you know, you're right, it's so bad that it actually hurts a lot of people because we pay our taxes go to, you know, the PhilHealth, and eventually, of course, we have to talk about the UHC, the Universal Health Care. And then you hear stories like this na allegedly, sir, nadadaya o naloloko yung funds, nakukuha yung funds ng PhilHealth for people who are dead. Is there a way to kind of prevent this?
And ito, dialysis, Pinky, these are people who are close to death. So, tinanggalan mo ng dialysis treatment, yung mga kailangan ng dialysis. These are people who, if they don't get their dialysis, they may die in a month's time, in months' time. Diba? So, you should really have put in institutional safeguards. I'm not an expert but maybe you could call in the fraud officers of private companies who've done it before. And how do you spot a fraud, diba? Maybe hindi sana yung ating taga-gobyerno sa ganun. So, like they say, maybe we don't need more doctors in PhilHealth. We need more managers. We need more fraud investigators. You know, those types of professionals, because you should transform it into a really professional insurance corporation.
I remember Senator J.V. Ejercito already calling for this. Parang he wanted somebody very permanent also to head the PhilHealth.
I do remember that. And he said, we have so many doctors already on the board. Sinabi ni Senator J.V., what we need is a good manager who can make sure the reserve is intact. That was one big concern at the time when we passed universal healthcare. Nadi-deplete yung reserve. That's why you have to, under the law, you're supposed to, I think, have an 18-month reserve, no? At nauubos na yon. So, kailangan i-manage din yung mga ganong types of claims.
So dalawa, sir, you said we need a good manager to take care of the funds. And what's the other one? Fraud
We need
investigators.
good fraud investigators. I think that's a problem in the insurance industry, whether it's property insurance, life insurance, or all types of insurance.
Yeah.
No? So,
And you wonder with private insurance, they're very strict in trying to find out if your claim is actually true
Yes.
or not. And sana ganun din sa
huwag naman
gobyerno.
siguro mag-stricto kasi baka naman hahaba yung mga pila. No? We should strike the right balance between safeguarding the public interest and also giving good service to the public.
I also just need to say that the wellness, well-meds lawyers, because they're the ones being referred to in this case, is saying that their client vehemently denies these accusations. That, of course, the background story here is a number, two workers are already saying that there were fraudulent claims of dead patients who were supposedly having dialysis, and they have vehemently denied this. Of course, the president has already ordered the arrest of these owners. So, is PhilHealth the problem, sir, or is it the hospitals or the wellness centers?
I don't think the hospital and wellness centers can make these claims without knowing someone on the inside. So, there's a big incentive, mukhang mahina ang safeguards, kaya nagkakakontsaba yung private and public sector. There are what you call overclaims, meaning hindi talaga nag-dialysis, binayaran for the full treatment, o kaya they upgrade the disease, meaning it's a cough, ginawang pneumonia. So you instead of paying, so PhilHealth pays 2,000, they pay 15,000,
Yeah.
and then there's an kickback under the table. So these are the things that a good fraud investigator will be able to spot.
What do you say, though, to the acting president and CEO after this story of supposed ghost dialysis, sir?
Well, let's see some heads roll maybe and see some major reforms, institutional reforms. Huwag lang yung cosmetic reforms, di ba?
When you talk about PhilHealth, of course, now is the universal healthcare, sir. Yung PhilHealth nga balikan natin was also your father was a
And your
sponsor
father.
of this, and my father as well. Universal healthcare, you're also were you author
Yes, I
or
was a co-author, yes.
co-author as well, sir? Just for the benefit of the viewers, also, what is the difference again between PhilHealth and the universal healthcare?
Well, under PhilHealth, they cover 7 diseases now. So dialysis is one of them, pneumonia, and other sicknesses, primary. Yung talagang kinakasakit ng ating mga kababayan. But the vision of universal healthcare is the vision of your father and my father, is that a truly universal in scope and coverage. Lahat ng Pilipino, yun yung coverage, and in scope, lahat po ng sakit, which is thousands. So it's really a truly ambitious program. Kaya there was widespread support for it, and at yung pangangailangan sa pondo. So you needed an additional 250 billion a year. And yet, we're trying to find that money. Pero sana naman yung mga, like me, I was the chairman of the Committee on Ways and Means.
Yeah.
That's my main job, Pinky. But, parang nakakahinayang talaga. It's like, parang sinuntok ka sa tiyan mo dahil we found the money, but then you're not spending it the right way. Di ba? So, sana, it's really important. Like I said, it's not only highly criminal, it's highly immoral because you're taking money away from very sick and the dying.
For the people who actually need them, yun yung tinatanggalan nyo ng pera. Yun yung lumalabas yun, tsaka pinaghirapan nyo. Maraming naglabi.
I'm saying this not as a lawmaker. Of course,
Hindi,
nahirapan
pinaghirapan
ako
ng
sa
mga
lawmaker.
lawmakers,
But
not just
also
yourself.
as representative of
Yeah.
the people, we know how hard it is for the people to come up. This is their hard-earned money.
Yeah.
Diba? So, talagang nakakapanghinayang.
So
talaga.
now that you have the universal healthcare, again, that obviously has expanded coverage of Filipinos, number
Yung
one.
dialysis lang, Pinky. Under the old dialysis in the last 3 years, PhilHealth went from 45 treatments a year per patient to 90. And under universal healthcare, it's going to be 120 in 1 year.
Yeah.
So if there's this leakage, imagine mo na lang, dinagdagan na nga yung treatment, magkaka-leakage pa. So baka dumagdag yung mawawala sa atin dyan.
So that now begs the next question, how can you plug the loopholes here kung meron na tayong nakikitang problema sa PhilHealth na mas konti, hindi naman mas konti, less people, less coverage, universal healthcare, more people and more coverage.
So
sir.
definitely, we should expect the possibility of fraud to increase. It's just like when you increase the tax, the possibility for smuggling increases. And you must level up to meet that challenge. We must level up to meet this challenge. And like I said, it can't be business as usual. You have to do something out of the box.
When you come into the 18th Congress, sir, I guess two things. Do you plan to look into, I mean, should the senators look into this alleged ghost dialysis again?
Definitely.
Sir?
I think we should first is maybe give the agency a chance to institute some reforms, give the president a chance to, because at their level, sila talaga yung main implementers and they're responsible for implementing the law. Pero at the same time, in the oversight, yung oversight function ng legislature, ng Senate, we can look into it also.
All right, we'll be taking a short break. We'll talk about the additional taxes on tobacco and other tax reform bills. This is The Source on CNN Philippines. Please stay tuned. You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. Our guest today is Senator Sonny Angara. A lot of people happy and proud of the passage of the universal health care, especially, again, balikan ko lang sa Senator JV. But the question really was for a lot of people here was funding. And funding came is coming in the form of sin taxes. Let's talk about that, Senator, because this was passed very recently. Taxes per package will be on a staggered basis beginning 2020.
Yes,
so,
yes.
How much is it in 2020?
Well, this year it's going to be it's 35 pesos. It went up to 35 pesos. Next year it's going to be 45 pesos under the new, once it's signed into law. No?
Yeah.
And then it will increase to 50 pesos in 2021, then 55 in 2022, 60 in 2023, and then you have a 5% increase every year. So even if we don't, if the next Congress doesn't legislate, it will be increasing.
Forever. It's
Yes,
just going to keep
perpetually.
increasing?
Yes, yes.
I see. So that's, just to be clear about that, that's in 2020, that's 45 pesos just on taxes.
On one pack of cigarettes.
Yeah,
yes.
on top of how much a pack of cigarettes
That's
is.
right. That's right.
So the motive really is, well, two things: to fund the universal health care, and number two is to turn off these
That's right. You said it.
smokers.
That's
Tumigil
it.
na silang magsigarilyo.
You got it right, Pinky. Those are the two main goals because the original sin tax reform in 2012 was very successful in both. From 30 billion revenue, naging 100 plus billion yung revenue ng PhilHealth. And then for smokers, you discouraged maybe 500,000 to 1 million new smokers.
Is that so?
Yeah. So,
Okay.
ganun naman yung goal ngayon. But sabi nga nila, people's incomes went up, so they can afford, more people can afford to smoke now.
Maghahanap na lang siguro sila ng mas mura, Senator, na pack of cigarettes, no? Okay, so that will kind of help fund the UHC. But it's not just cigarettes now, because the new addition, as you mentioned during the hearing, was on vape and other forms of electronic cigarettes,
Yes.
Senator. So meron na rin to.
These are new products which we were previously untaxed. So walang natatanggap yung ating pamahalaan dyan. But nakikita natin maraming nagsiswitch dyan. Itong vape, some liquid is transformed to vapor. It's inhaled. Itong heated tobacco products, there's this machine and then you put in I don't know if you call it an e-cigarette. There's various names for it, no? But we decided to put the tax of 10 pesos initially on it. And it goes up as the quantity increases.
Again.
Yes.
Did you miss anything, sir? Wala naman siguro, no? Because of vape and the heated tobacco, because those are the new forms of,
Well, I'm sure
smoking.
business is perpetually developing new products. Makaisip sila ng bago na hindi natatax, no? But for now, I think we covered the field.
So because of this, let's look at the revenues generated. You mentioned a while ago that for next year, sir, you need 250 billion for
We're going to get at
UHC.
least 15 billion additional revenue for
2020.
For PhilHealth, yeah. So that's going to go straight to universal health care.
Paano ho kaya yon? When you already said that we need about 250 billion a year for the universal health care, and you're looking at an additional 15 billion for PhilHealth, sir. Medyo.
Well, PhilHealth already gets about maybe close to 100 billion from premium payments. And I think the sin tax collection is probably going to be around 130, 140 billion. So you put that together with this one, that's already about maybe 240, 250. So you're still short a little bit, but at the same time, the COA has flagged the DOH for slow implementation of projects. So somewhere they're going to meet.
Yeah.
Yung funds at saka yung paggawa ng mga yung demand for new services, for new personnel. Somehow along the way, we're going to get it funded.
But we're still waiting for the president's signature on this.
Yes, but I'm almost 100% sure the president will sign it very soon.
Tsaka, tinapos niyo talaga to, both houses.
3 weeks, in 3 weeks. So it's quite quite an achievement for the... Usually after elections, walang masyadong
Wala
napapasa.
masyadong gumagalaw.
Oo, pero ito talagang tinutukan po ng departamento, tinutukan talaga ng Senado.
Because you really need to fund the UHC.
Yes,
Sir,
we
sayang
realized...
naman yung UHC
Oo,
kung...
mahirapan tayo kung di natin pinasa to.
Okay, again, we'll be taking a short break. We'll be right back. You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. Our guest today is Senator Sonny Angara. Sir, teachers' salaries. They are calling, asking, appealing for an increase in their salaries. What can be done about this?
I think the president has already said he will push for that, no? So I think it's just a question of when. Will we have the money in the 2021 budget, or the 2020 budget rather, and how many faces? Usually naka-face yan. You can't, dahil we have over, I think, 600,000 teachers, public school teachers. So yung 1,000 pesos lang, it may seem like a small thing to a teacher, but times 600,000, napakalaking pera. That's 600 million pesos, no? So double 2,000 is 1.2 billion. So hahanapan natin ng pondo yan. I think after the soldiers, si Presidente, pag sinabi niya, mukhang ginagawa talaga eh. He promised for the soldiers and the policemen, ginawa talaga. So I think the executive and the legislative will work together to find the money for this.
Are you confident, sir, that possibly next year this will be done?
I'm hoping, no? Dahil nagkasabay siya dun sa napakalaking pondo na kailangan for two very important reforms. We talked about the universal healthcare and the free college tuition.
Yeah.
Because you're talking about ballooning payments. Yung first year, naging second year, dumoble yung kailangan mo. If you had 100 billion here, next year you'll need 200 billion. So it's no joke. These are huge financial requirements.
But absolutely understandable because sa daming kailangang pondohan. But the plight of the teachers, sir, has been a concern
Definitely.
for the past couple of years. At sinasabi nga napakaliit ng sweldo. Hence, you have another side saying naman na mas okay daw, comparing public and private school teachers, sometimes they even compare the salary of both.
Depende kung sino kausap mo, Pinky. If you're talking to a private school owner, like maybe in a province in Mindanao, in a small town, sasabihin nila mataas na yan. Kasi yung they forced, some schools were forced to close. Kasi lumilipat yung mga teachers nila. But of course, if you talk to the public school teachers, and I think they're right, medyo mababa yung sweldo nila. And tumataas ang pangangailangan. And we want really our teachers to do well because we want them to know we value their services.
Yeah.
Diba? I think more than anything, we want I mean, the Constitution says education should get the highest budgetary priority. So, the Constitution says it already. So, tayo, totohanin natin, di ba? And one way is to increase the pay of our teachers.
Yeah, very recently, just to shift topics, sir, there was a call by 11 experts or special rapporteurs asking the UN Human Rights Council to begin a probe on alleged human rights violations in the country. Sir, as a senator, does this concern you? I mean, we're talking about 11 special or experts now or special rapporteurs asking the UN Human Rights Council to start a probe.
I hope the UN gives in a sense, it also respects our sovereignty and maybe points out what the domestic institutions can do. Rather than, because the UN is made up of sovereign states, and we're supporting the UN, in fact. We were a founding member. We were part of the General Assembly when Carlos Romulo represented us back in the 40s. I think we're one of the charter members, if I'm not mistaken. So its foundation is the sovereignty of states. So they want to see progress, but through domestic government. So give our institutions a chance. Kung may pagkukulang, sabihan nyo kami anong kailangan gawin. Pero don't dictate na sana.
So you don't you don't agree with what's being said or what they're asking?
They can do a probe, but don't do it in such a way that we think you should do this, but don't tell us do this, diba? Parang we'll make that judgment.
But they're asking the UN Human Rights Council to do that, to initiate a probe, sir. Let me quote, because of what is called a sharp deterioration of human rights in the Philippines.
They can do a probe if they want, but do it within respecting the framework of our own sovereignty, because there's no supranational government in the world.
Do you agree that there's a sharp deterioration of human rights in the Philippines, sir? Perhaps,
but there's also people have have talked about that, but they also talk about the increase in the well-being of people. People also say they feel safer, di ba? They feel safer going home at night. So that's also a human right, yung well-being. So maybe it's the striking the right balance.
Yeah.
I think maybe that's the goal. That should be the goal.
Okay, let's talk about now what's been talked about the past couple of days after you guys won the Senate leadership. Sir, was it too soon, too early to even talk about the leadership or even the committee chairmanships?
Well, I felt, yeah, it's. I think a lot of legislators have remarked, not just on the Senate side, but also on the House side. Parang ang aga mag-umpisa nung jockeying at nung medyo excited yung mga actors, no, yung participants, the new senators, the new congressmen. That's understandable, no. But you have to understand, it's just a month between now and the SONA, the State of the Nation address for 2019 is July 22. So napakatagal pa, di ba? Baka marami pang mangyari niyan. So having said that, it's good to see that they're very enthusiastic also.
Okay, Senate President, are you certain it will be Senate President Soto still in the 18th Congress?
I mean, barring any surprises, no, I think he will keep his post. No?
But that's a question when you say barring any surprises. What was said before, na sinagot naman ni incoming Senator Francis Tolentino na parang siya yun daw, allegedly nag-uumpisa na palitan si Senate President Soto,
Yes,
no? But
yes.
he already said he wasn't even here during that talk. In fact, he was I believe, in Jerusalem. So when you had that dinner in Senator Pacquiao's office, did that solidify? Because even Senator Win Gatchalian was saying it somehow solidified that Soto will still be Senate President.
Yes, because it brought in there were a lot of the new guys then. Si Senator-elect Tolentino, Senator-elect Bato, Senator-elect Mongo, Senator-elect Aimee was there, and the comebacking Senator Bong, Senator Lito were all there. So mukhang nagkaka-gel yung grupo. And they explained to them that may sistema talaga in the Senate. There are some rules which are not, although not written, they're kind of traditions. And the Senate operates by consensus, and itong last 17th Congress, maraming napasa dahil magkasundo. Pag minsan nagbabakbakan sa Senado, parang marami ring casualty. And one of those is efficiency and production.
Yeah. Because nag-gel kayo, marami kayong, you're saying, batas na naipasa.
Yes,
Yan,
yes.
I guess that's... And when you talk about the Senate, you talk about the independence of the Senate. With
right,
this
that's
kind, sir, of senators coming in, is it going to be, I don't know, a more independent Senate, you think, in the 18th Congress compared to the 17th Congress?
Well, you always have countercurrents, Pinky, no? You have people wanting less independence, you have senators pushing for less independence and closer alignment with Malacanang. But you also have senators who value that role as a fiscalizer or as a separate branch of the government. And there are times when you cooperate. There are also times when you say, wait, on this issue, I think we have to be a little more independent.
Yeah.
We have to study it a bit better.
I remember during one of the president's sauna when he was talking about the train, he specifically directed his question
I
to
was
you.
surprised. Yes,
Oh,
yes,
diba?
I remember that. 2 years ago.
2 years ago about the train because you
Yes,
were
yes.
quite, siguro, strong yung stand mo against the train back then.
Yeah, I think that's one instance where we worked together, but at the same time, we also asserted our independence. Meaning, if the Department of Finance told us, can you pass these 12 new types of taxes? Tinignan namin, yung 12, parang hindi yata tama yung 12, so pinalitan namin. Ginawa naming 8 or may pinalitan kami, di ba? So yung sugar sweetened, wala yun sa original, nilagay ng Kongreso yun. Yung sa ibang aspeto, wala naman yun sa original, pinasok namin yun. So it's an example of working together to achieve the same goal, which is to put our fiscal house in order and to have funding for education, for health. But at the same time, we'll do it the way we think is right.
Yeah. Chairmanship, sir, anong may iwan sa inyo?
Well, they're talking about electing me as finance chairman because Senator Lauren is graduating. She chaired it for 4 years.
Your father was also
So,
finance.
At some point, yeah, I think he chaired it twice separately. You know, so it's a difficult committee. It's a lot of work, but it's also a big responsibility, and it's something that I think
You're ready for that.
I think we will work hard to make ourselves ready for
What
it.
happens to Ways and Means?
Well, usually you cannot handle both because
Yeah.
they both
Mabigat.
deal with the national. They're two sides of the national budget. Ways and Means is how to get the funds, how to source the funds, and then appropriations or finance is how to spend it.
Yeah.
So it'll probably be offered to, usually given to a lawyer. So if you look at there's some new senator elects
Kanina, sir,
for
kanina pupunta
lawyers.
si Ways and Means.
Right now, no one seems to be excited to grab it, no, Pinky. Maybe because they know that the government is pushing
For more taxes.
There's at least three more train packages,
Yeah.
I think, and they're not easy, no, because yung trabaho bill, you're talking about incentives. Maganda, you lower corporate income tax,
Right.
pero yung madugo doon, yung gagalawin mo yung incentives na binibigay sa investors, because you're talking about yung reputation ng Philippines as an investment destination.
Right.
You're talking about jobs in PEZA zones.
Yeah.
So it's a bit tricky, no? Kailangan medyo maingat tayo dyan.
So are you happier to be at finance rather than Ways and Means? Because, I mean, let's be honest here, sir, nung tumatakbo kayo, yung ibinabato sa'yo, train,
Yes,
Ways
that's
and
right.
Means, di ba?
That's right. We
So,
must have had so many back and forth
conversations
and
about
interviews
that.
about,
Yeah.
about trains. So yes,
So you're
it was a
possibly
challenging.
better off
Well,
at
medyo
finance.
napagod tayo doon, to be honest.
Yeah.
No? In the 6 years that I handled Ways and Means, it's very, very exhausting, and we gave a lot of time and effort to it. And sometimes you don't get it 100% right, despite the effort and the study you put into it. No, it's tricky. It's tricky talaga.
Or you don't get it 100% right, or the promises that were made were not fulfilled
Some of the
100%.
projections are wrong. It's not an exact science, is
Yeah.
what I'm trying to say, Pinky. You know, you say inflation will go up by only 4%, and suddenly it's 6.5%. So medyo, it's difficult. No?
Okay, just a very quick question. What is your priority in the 18th Congress? Yung unang priority mo, sir?
I think I'd like to see a Made in the Philippines campaign. I'd like to see more products and more complex products, more value-added products. Kasi we're not proud about what we make anymore in the country.
Very good. Maraming salamat. Senator Sonny Angara, I'm sure pwede na ho kayong
Bakasyon?
bakasyon
Thanks.
and to rest after that grueling campaign and the chairmanship battle and the leadership. Maraming salamat po sa inyo.
Thank you
Good luck,
very
sir.
much,
We'll see you in the
Pinky.
18th
Thanks so
Congress.
much.
Thank
Thank you.
you. Thank you for joining us here on The Source. I'm Pinky Webb. You're watching CNN Philippines.